It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I never do this alone. I have the ladies with me. YK in the building.
Good morning. I didn't see you on Tuesday. I missed you.
Oh, YK. Where was I again? Oh,
You went out
I went out.
We missed her.
We missed her,
She left us here.
I was even shocked because I didn't know. I just saw Veronica sitting opposite me. I was like,
What happened?
Well, I'm off tomorrow again. You know, so
Okay.
I have a few things I'm working on, but you know, God is in control.
Wow.
Everything
Yes,
will work out.
Amen,
well.
amen.
How you doing, YK?
I lead you in that prayer.
Amen. Thank you, YK.
Yes,
I
sir.
love what you're wearing, though.
It was a birthday present, and you know, I don't know who gave it to me.
Are you
Can't
serious?
remember.
It looks
There's
so
no name on the...
No name. But I just love it, you know. I just
nice
love
for
it.
you.
You know?
We will know what you like.
Mama
you
di
know?
mama.
Someone was calling me yesterday asking for what you like. I told the person was so excited. I told them
Shoes.
No. They were shoes and something else.
Okay.
So I think they're going to get you one of those. They want to get you a
nice.
gift. How you doing, YK?
I'm fine, no, I'm fine. Hey, let me tell you what happened to me this morning. My phone rang at 5. It was my daughter. You know that kind of fear?
Fear.
What happened?
What
5
is it?
a.m.
5
I
a.m.
know.
So I picked it, and she cut it off. So I called her back. Then she sent me a text that it is her daughter that called me.
My heart flew.
She said she doesn't know how, because she locked her phone. She doesn't know how she's calling, that I should look at her telephone bill for last month.
Oh, shall we calling
So
people?
when I looked at the telephone bill, I saw 10,000. I said 10,000 pounds.
Oh, what?
She said, then she now sent the text, says, no, it's not 10,000 pounds, it's 10 pounds. And if it was 10,000 pounds, she would have dashed her to the phone company.
Kids can be very,
very interesting.
hands-on. They want to touch everything. And
Can you imagine? I don't even know how she's even entering the password. And
Yeah.
How you doing, Nabi
I'm doing
Ajulu?
amazing.
I always love this combination. When you
Oh,
wear it.
okay.
It looks
Thank
so nice
you.
on
I love tracks a lot. I'm trying to reorganize my life because I realized that one of the reasons I sent my children to the boarding was because I wanted them to learn organization, learn how to keep their things in order and all of that. I'm not that type of person, though my husband is, but I'm not. And I felt I won't have the moral justification to be telling them, clean your room, dress your bed, arrange your books when I don't do it.
Yeah, right.
So, but I've realized that nobody can train your children. You have to do the work.
Yeah.
You have to be deliberate about parenting. So likely they may not resume as boarders. They're going to be with me. So I now told myself, if I calm, YK is excited. If
I'm
I
so
calm,
happy to
I
hear
know.
that. I'm really
if I
happy to hear
calm
that.
down and organize myself now that they're on holiday,
yeah.
by the time we
September,
resume school, they will be able to flow in. So I've given them rules and regulations.
Yeah.
We have our meditation social time. We have family reading time social time. So play all the play you want to play during the day from 6 p.m. Everything just falls into place. And yesterday they were looking at me like I have killed them. As in, where is this woman coming from? Why is mommy like this? This is the holiday. They were complaining. I said, no, we need to organize ourselves so that by the time school starts,
you know what you should tell
easy.
them, that do you prefer to go to the boarding house?
No, they don't want to.
So when you tell them that, you will see that they will.
Well, you know, I went for school
conform.
inspection with the Commissioner for Education yesterday, and I went to, is it Maryland? There was a Catholic school. I entered, it was so neat, and I'm like, I feel like taking my child there for secondary school. I mean, I didn't want boarding house again, but I might actually take my child to that school. Very, very clean.
Maryland Comprehensive.
Yeah, this is Maryland Comprehensive. One of the
Yeah, Maryland. Yeah, I know the school.
And the
very
students,
good
the one
school.
clean. Do you know if it's the students cleaning or the
No,
workers?
just not the kid. It's just like a very decent, nice place. Anyway, let me not take that. My banter. So I have this grandma, my brother's wife's mother. She lives in Texas, right? And all her kids are spread all over the U.S. So the doctor said that she had a few more. You know how they tell you in the morning, oh, she didn't have a few more days, maximum 1 week. So everybody now packed their bags, traveled to Texas to go and say bye to grandma. But grandma will be going. Grandma refused to go. Grandma stayed 1 week, finish. You know, you cannot leave America, work now. Second week, they just, okay, well, maybe my grandma will go this week. Grandma
is not leaving.
Did not travel. So everybody said, you know what, guys, we are going back to our states. It was really nice. Grandma, everybody, as they travel like this, the next day.
She just left.
Wow.
The next
She was
day.
enjoying their company.
But I really, she was a great woman, Mrs. Osoyin Jobi. I mean, may her soul rest in peace. She's just a wonderful woman. Wonderful woman. But it was just
Can you
interesting.
imagine? She was just basking
Enjoying,
in there.
yes.
All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Let's start with the nation. Akeredolu verdict. Danger ahead, Keyamo warns APC. Picture here of Shiite leader El Zakzaky, wife set free. Lagos Island may go under by 2030. We reject it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
U.S. lawmakers halt arms sale to Nigeria. Naira slides to 522 naira to the dollar after ban on forex for bureau de change. States get conditions to access World Bank $750 million. Twitter and the federal government begin talks over the ban. Okay, let's start with the Lagos Island.
Flooding, yes.
Flooding.
So, you know, there's been this report that some states, I think major cities in the world, about 10 cities, including Lagos State, will be going under in the next 50 years. Now, this 50 years report has been on for as long as I can remember, but there's this new report that says just 29 years, Lagos will likely go under. And they are, you know, saying that one of the reasons Lagos will go under is the fact that we do a lot of dredging. We do a lot of reclaiming of land. We're building new cities. So we take land from the sea and we build new cities. So especially cities like Lekki and Banana Island will be in serious trouble in the next 29 years. And they're appealing to developers. You have done enough. This is the time to stop. Let us pay attention. What we are actually having right now is just even the flash floods. The coastal floods have not started. Imagine if we have this type of rain that happened last week.
2 days. They said if we have it 2 days in a row.
2 days in a row, how Lagos is going to be. So it's more like, I don't know, it's scary right now, especially for people who have built their houses in that part of Lagos. But let's hope that the developers will now go to the mainland and start developing.
Even like it's time to start thinking of relocating or find somewhere to squat, at least for this season, until things
they are talking to developers, especially developers and the government. This you're reclaiming because it's disturbing something inside the ocean. So
okay. Let me take
El Zakzaky. Take it.
So El Zakzaky was acquitted yesterday. His lawyer, actually Justice Gabriel Kolawole, rejected the submission by the SSS, saying that their decision to hold the Islamic cleric and his wife for their safety was not based on law. And he has instructed them to rebuild his house, which was destroyed. He should find a place that he choose a place that he likes, and the government must rebuild another house in the place. And he was set free. I mean, we expect his lawyer, Femi Falana, of course, was happy about that, but I'm sure they're going to be possibly suing. It wasn't mentioned here, but we're sure that they're likely going to sue the government for
they even actually, as they release them, they whisk them away to an undisclosed location because you know how they can do. They can just come and rearrest them again. But what they said that was interesting was the Kaduna State government were trying them on a law that was, you know, the law was imposed in 2017. They are supposed to have committed the offense in 2015. So,
before the law came.
So they committed the offense. So how can you commit an offense
and then wait for a law to catch you in the future?
So when you did it, it was not an offense. Now they are saying that it's an offense.
It's good to know that at least finally he's been released and acquitted.
6 years of his life, 5 years of his life.
Yeah, wow.
Come on.
Twitter, yes. So a bit of good news. We're still waiting. So the federal government and Twitter have begun talks towards lifting the ban. And this was disclosed by someone who didn't want to mention his name, saying that they are trying to trash out all the agreements. They're trying to trash out all the disputes that they have. But hopefully the ban will be lifted. You know, a lot of businessmen have been affected, those people who do their businesses on Twitter, and hopefully we'll get good news soon.
Okay, moving on to The Punch. FG lines up 36 billion naira for COVID-19. Third wave. Says 4,261 cases recorded in 30 days. Buhari Hill's judgment, justices divided as Supreme Court affirms Akeredolu's victory. 18-year-old ex-convict arrested for killing Ron's girl, who was 28, in Ogun. We're in talks with bandits on 83 Kaduna Baptist students, says Khan. NYC mourns as 5 camp-bound core members die in crash. APC Congress is under threat as Supreme Court declares Buni's chairmanship illegal. And Senate names Jonathan Sambo in 665.8 billion naira diversion and demands refund. Okay.
Let me start with the major story.
Major header.
For the other story. So the federal government is set to release 36 billion to states as part of measures to curb COVID-19, especially with this third wave that we are having. So according to the Benue State Commissioner for Health and Human Services, it said that they are going to be releasing the fund before the end of this month, that's July. And the different commissioners, health commissioners, are going to be meeting with the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 to, find out ways that they are going to show up testing, because according to the report that they had on Tuesday, 404 people tested positive for COVID-19. So they're going to show up their testing and plan on how they are going to use and spend the 1 billion each that will go to the different states in fighting COVID-19.
All right. So the story I was going to take. Okay, go ahead, please.
No, I was going to talk about that 18-year-old ex-convict.
What happened?
That he took a lady of the night, and then after the whole show, she asked for 10,000, and he said no, he can only give her 8,000. No, he said he only has 8,000 on him.
Yeah.
Okay, hold my phone. She held his phone. This is what he supposedly confessed to the police. He went away. When he came back with a knife, stabbed her, and
Wow.
in the neck, and she died. They caught him in Pansheke, because this was in Abeokuta, where he was trying to pick up another girl. He's an ex-convict. And the other one I wanted to take was...
18. He's
18.
Oh.
Can you imagine? Poor,
Which other story you're going to take?
the hush puppy. He has a plea bargain. So he's pleaded guilty. So he's supposed to face up to 20 years. But I think with this plea bargain, he won't get that amount of time. Yeah.
Okay, there was a story that I missed.
They didn't sign the papers.
Naira falls to 522 naira to the dollar. I saw it in the...
Falls or rises?
Yeah, it falls, as in the value falls. So it's now 500.
Naira has fallen.
Fallen. So 500 and, well, literally it's risen
The
to...
dollar has risen.
But the value has risen, that has fallen to 522 naira to the dollar. And what happens is that, according to the report, it shows that there's pressure on the naira because manufacturers and foreign exchange end users scramble for scarce resources. Obviously, the banks are not giving us enough dollars, so they have to resort to the bureau d'change, because that's the documentation going through the banks has been so tedious. The processes takes a long time of approvals that are required to purchase dollars from banks, which usually doesn't even meet short notices. So because of that, they have to fall back on the bureau d'change, and that has now increased naira to 522 naira to the dollar, and obviously that makes the value of naira fall further down.
I think we should learn not to be in a hurry to, dish out policies. We should calm down.
I also think that we need to fasten the process of getting dollar, because you're not making it attractive for us to go to the bank. It's so difficult.
It's difficult.
You have to go for approvals, check if it's on the list, they come back to you, and usually you need money immediately for so many other medical issues, for school fees, for products. So there's something wrong with that policy that needs to be ensured, that needs to be reviewed to ensure that people can easily access dollars. So that
the thing is, a lot of banks don't even have dollars.
They don't.
They will call the malam.
Abi, that's true.
They call malam for you.
When you're saying bureau d'change, so do the malams fall under that bureau d'change?
No, that's the
those ones are black markets.
Yes, black markets.
Those are the ones reigning now.
Let's
The
go on a
malams
break.
are
The malams are the ones reigning.
Yeah.
When we come back,
They dictate the pace. Sorry.
we continue with the review. Stay with us, Brent. Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to the Nigerian Tribune. U.S. lawmakers block sale of $875 million weapons to Nigeria. Alleged homicide, court discharges El Zakzaki and his wife. Lagos, Delta, Oyo, Sokoto, others high risk of flooding. Government strike again in Imo, behead 2 persons. Outages as electricity grid collapses again. After on Thursday, establishment of more public vaccines without NUC input. Delta variant US to ship 4 million COVID-19 vaccine doses to Nigeria. APC Congress's Buni insists on consensus option, warns against media war. Okay, the major headline, the U.S. lawmakers are stopping the government from sending of 12 AH Cobra attack helicopters to Nigeria, according to them, citing human rights reports and the issue of the high risk of insecurity in the country that the government has been unable to curb, saying that the government is drifting into an authoritarian government, and such that they cannot begin to, they need to rethink their engagement with Nigeria, and they are pushing their government to stop all the sale of the, really, they have about 28 helicopter engines produced by the G Aviation, 14 military-grade aircraft navigation systems made by their company, and 2,000 advanced precision kill weapon systems, laser-guided rocket ammunition. All, they're trying to stop all those ammunition from coming to Nigeria because of the high risk of the high human rights allegations against Nigeria and the fact that our government seems to be authoritarian.
Yes, they also mentioned that you know, the agreement reached with Nigeria was done before Biden was inaugurated. And so they are just worried that because of the issues we are having, the kidnapping, the banditry, the insecurity issues, that it may not be to the best interest of America to still be affiliated with us. And so there are high, powerful lawmakers who are trying to stop, you know, put it on a pause, according to the paper.
They're talking about the systemic corruption, the invasion of the Lekki toll gate by soldiers during the NSAS as reasons for why they don't want us to have the guns. But I think that, look, we need the guns if we're going to tackle insurgency. Now, this is what they did during the Jonathan regime. They didn't give him guns to tackle Boko Haram, and look at what it became. Now they're doing it again. So one wonders, do you have an ulterior motive? Or maybe it is credits that we want to buy and they don't want to sell credits to us. I don't know.
The value has, so now, our government, however, is saying that, we'll get whatever we want from the US. Don't worry. We have a good relationship with the American government, and we will get what we need from them to be able to fight the insurgency that we're facing.
So the same United States are saying that they are going to give 10 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to Nigeria and South Africa. They'll be giving 4 million doses to Nigeria. That's the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine, and then 5.66 million doses of Pfizer vaccine will go to South Africa. And one of the reasons they're sending this is just to break the lag between developed countries who are being vaccinated with the speed of life and other countries who do not have as much. And they're also saying that one of the issues we may likely have is when people now decide, because of the Delta variant that is killing people as fast, when they now decide to have booster doses, we may not be able to get for those who have not been vaccinated in our countries. So let them hurry up.
If the Moderna comes, maybe I will take that one.
Why? Why are you taking the one from US?
Moving on.
They don't want to kill their people.
Why are you taking the one from US?
They don't want to kill their people.
Moving on to Vanguard. US lawmakers stop talk about the arms sale to Nigeria. Let's find a story of not taking 5 prospective NYSC members die in Abuja auto crash. FG gives states conditions to benefit from the $750 million World Bank facility. Democracy, dictatorship can't coexist, says Kuka. Why Buhari prefers to have medical checkup in the UK, says Aid. And Imo soldiers vehement refuse to unlock timber market. Please tell me why Buhari wants to go to the UK. Who has that story?
Yes, I have the story. So I want to say, so the special advisor to the president on media, yes, Femi Adesina, said that his boss usually takes his medical checkup in the United Kingdom because Nigerian doctors do not have his medical profile. That's one. 2, it's important that people that have your medical profile continue to treat you, that he's been using this team of doctors for over 40 years now. And he will not want to change them because they already know everything about him. And that's the only reason that he likes to go to the UK to get treatment. President Biko, can't they import this medical records? No, import the medical records. Exactly. Don't we have qualified doctors here who can take care of you, sir?
Let's be fair.
Be fair, please.
I want to be fair.
Please be fair.
Because your records, it's just like your eyes.
Yes.
If you treat your eyes here, if you take the records, you can take it to any optician.
Thank you.
The same thing with your medical records. What if he had to be transferred? What if he had a serious disease? To America?
Another country.
He will take the records.
It's the records.
Wait. Now, he says he has been taking this treatment for 40 years.
Yeah.
I remember when our president was calling me, when he said he has 2 million naira inside his account. Like, he didn't have money, everybody was contributing money up and down. How was he going abroad if he didn't have money? Because he said he was a poor man. He only had cows.
Okay.
70.
And maybe you sell some cows.
Okay, so that's the question. When you see,
That's why I didn't take the story, because I have to ask that question.
so when you see him, you can ask him that. My own is that if I've been using one daughter for 40 years with my own personal money, I want to continue, even if I become president. And well, at least he will have a team. He will have a team that is. Anyway,
and you're still not getting well. Wouldn't you probe that doctor that's eating your money for 40 years?
Shey Buhari looks sick to you. Does Buhari look sick to you? That man is under 50 years as he's doing like this. That man is that man is not sick.
Yeah, doctors change.
Yeah.
It will still be the same hospital, but the team
Please,
will change.
can we take Imo State, I beg? Oh,
Okay.
NYSC. You
Yes.
have Imo story.
I have the Imo
Okay,
story.
go ahead, please.
Which one is the Imo story now?
The timber.
Refuse to on the timber market.
Okay, so let me take the NYSC.
Take the NYSC.
Yeah, so 5 prospective members of the National Youth Service Corps had an accident. I think this happened along Abaji Kwali axis of Abuja-Lokoja Highway. They were going to resume as Batch B Corps members. And this also happened 2 a.m. in the middle of the night. The report is a bit sketchy at this moment because the people who were supposed to respond to the reporters were not able to respond for us to have exactly all the details. Right. But the thing is, the NYSC law states that you do not travel at night. There are people who are still traveling today, people who still travel tomorrow to go to their respective camps. Why the hurry traveling at night? So we need to advise our young corps members who are going to be deployed not to travel at night. It's very risky.
Yeah.
It's in the law already.
Please.
So painful.
Okay.
So the Imo story, yeah. The timber market at Omuowa in Olu local government area of Imo State is under lock and key. Now, the reason is apparently on Monday, gunmen came there and fired gunshots sporadically. Soldiers now closed the market. Okay. Now, nobody was in the market when the gunmen came there. The two markets, there was the timber market and the second one. What's the second one?
That one is building materials market.
So that one, they decided not to come to market because that was the day they were taking Nnamdi Kanu to court. Soldiers now came, locked the market. When the marketers came on Tuesday, market was locked. Till at the time of filing this report, that Olu market, the timber market, is still closed. They've opened the other one, the adjacent one. Yeah. And the traders are asking, why are you locking the markets? If people came to shoot sporadically, is it us, the traders, that you will blame? Or the people that came to shoot?
But it's still a crime scene, so maybe they need to get the bullets and to know exactly.
When did soldiers become the people that are searching for
carry out investigations?
So
exactly.
It's not the soldiers carrying out investigations.
It's the police.
But the soldiers that locked it.
Maybe they locked it for the police, so that the police will come and do the investigation.
Hey,
I'm not speaking about the government.
Because even the Ohanize have spoken that this is not fair to the traders. These people are losing millions of naira. This is their work.
So they are insensitive. So even if you want to use it as a crime scene, do what you need to do and reopen the market so that people can actually get back to work.
Crime scene, they didn't kill anybody now. They just shot sporadically.
Why should I pick up
because
bullets?
According to someone, they said because they were in solidarity with
and let them open their markets
Nnamdi Kanu. And it said they were in solidarity with Nnamdi Kanu. That the grievance is the fact that they stayed back at home instead of opening their shop on the day Nnamdi was supposed to appear in court.
Exactly, that is the reason.
Okay, we have to run. Let me say what's happening.
So you want to support? We know how far. We are going to support
our last paper, Daily Sun. Let's find a story we've not taken. You're taking the flood alert, right?
Yes,
28 states.
Almost
taking
that.
Kanu lawyer accuses UK of not doing enough. Ondo Guba Supreme Court affirms Akeredolu's victory. 2023, vote APC out. Kuka urges Nigerians. 87 billion allegedly diverted by AGF Senate report. U.S. lawmakers halt $875 million weapons. I think we've taken most of the stories here.
Most of the story, yeah.
Let's move on now to Daily Trust. Is that a story we've not taken? Job loss, inflation looms as road exchange operators lament new CBN forex policy. EFCC quizzes ex-Nasarawa governor Al-Makura wife over alleged fraud. 6 herders killed in attack on Taraba Fulani community, says police. El Zaki's long walk to freedom. 18 million Nigerians infected with hepatitis, says federal government. Accountant General illegally withdrew 665.8 billion naira from the special fund. Who has the hepatitis story?
Yes, I do. So the report says about 18 million Nigerians are estimated to be infected with hepatitis B and C, according to the Minister of Health. And he said out of this 16 million are affected with hepatitis B, while 2.2 million are with hepatitis C. And he said one of the reasons we still have this is the fact that there is a low level of awareness. There is underreporting, underdiagnosis, and undertreatment. And we need to do more for people to understand what this means. And I think that disease is about, it has something to do with damaging your liver and kidneys, I guess.
Congratulations to Governor of Ondo State, Aketi. At least now, Supreme Court. Is it Aketi or Akete?
Akete,
It's Aketi or Ike? I know that one past you.
Okay, me, I'm lost. I don't know. Anyone you call,
So, congratulations to him. The Supreme Court, Arakuri, was a 3-4 vote, quite close, interestingly. So at least he's still the governor. People are afraid that by today we ex-governor, but thank God for him. Thank God for God that he's still governor of his state. Congratulations to him and his entire team.
Jagede has considered defeat and said, congratulations, no problem.
Move on.
Yes, but hopefully they can work together because they both have...
right. Enough support. Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, it's Thursday. We discuss life issues. Our guest is in the building. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So fathers have a vital responsibility to teach their sons how to be strong, responsible men as they grow. According to a report, the absence of a father, or at least a positive father figure in a young man's life, he struggles to learn what it means to become a responsible man and citizen and father to his own children. Joining us to shed more light on this, as always, is our own very catalyst, Lanre Olusola. Welcome to the show. We'd like to have you on the show times like this.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, and we like that both of you are wearing black.
Yeah, we're...
Father.
The coach
And we are both wearing green.
yes, now, so we are good.
We are like Nigerian flag, green, white, green.
Right. So we want to talk about fathers today, and it's so important because, I mean, we are mothers and we understand the role a mother plays in the lives of a child. But a father figure these days is becoming an issue because many people are confidently saying, you know, I am a mother and a father to my child. I'm all he needs. The father is a douchebag and I'm ready to just, he's not in his life and I'm good enough to be a mother and father to this child. My question therefore to you is there, can we have, how do we raise responsible men to take responsibility for their sons?
Wow, it's a big issue.
It's very broad, right?
We need to unpack it. First of all, you know, let's look at society today. So, you know, if you read the newspapers, right, you would hear about terrorism, kidnapping, stealing, arson, all manners of dysfunctionality and problems in society. But let's look at it. Who is committing those crimes? Women or men?
Mostly men.
It's the men. Now, if this is what is happening, then we need to ask ourselves why. The reason why is because they're dysfunctional. Why are they dysfunctional? They were nurtured in a dysfunctional home by dysfunctional parents or absent parents. And that's why this topic is so critical and so important. So the mothers, God bless them. The fathers have been absent. They've needed to try and do everything that they can do. So let we celebrate all the women that have stepped up. But it's not enough. Fathers need to wake up to their responsibilities. In fact, being a father is not just about, you know, procreation. not just about sowing those your wild oats. It's about, nurturing your son to become, a responsible member of society. It is nurturing your son to know that he's here for a purpose and to live that purpose and to fulfill that purpose. It is ensuring that your son becomes better than you.
Right.
It is ensuring that your son adds value to humanity. Now, that is your number one purpose. And I know a lot of people are looking for purpose everywhere.
Yeah, but you see, when you yourself as a person, you were not raised right.
Yeah.
You're raised in a society that is like you're in charge. You are the Lord and Master. So how do you give what you don't have? How do you raise a child to be responsible, even when you didn't get that training as a child? Yeah.
I mean, if we keep looking at it from this perspective, right, we will continue to recycle the problems.
Right.
And so we need to get to a point where we, men, take responsibility. Yes, I was raised in a pseudo-dysfunctional home. My father died when I was 2 years old. My mother raised me solely. But I've taken the responsibility, right, to be a responsible member of society, to add value to society. This is our responsibility. None of us can determine where we're coming from. But we can surely, right, design and define our future. And so it is time for us to have these serious conversations and to wake up to the reality of today. 21st century is a tough dispensation to live in.
Raise children.
To live in, to raise children, to exist in. Look at what's happened in the last 18 months. COVID, the pandemic. Do you know the emotional, mental, and psychological impact and trauma that it's created?
I mean, I like the lady.
So, what happens in a case where a father isn't present for whatever circumstance, and a mother is trying to take up the role of, taking care of this young man? How do you advise that mother to proceed? What sort of help does she need to raise a boy?
All right, so they say that it takes a village, right, to raise a child.
Right.
And that's why, we must lean on a few concepts. One, the concept of a godfather. Choose your child or your son's godfather wisely. You would have known from when you were dating that this man is going to be irresponsible. You can see it from his family background. You can see it from him. You can see it from the way he relates with his siblings, especially younger siblings, right? You can see it from the way he relates with younger boys, right, around him. You can see it. You can see the red flags. And so if you decide to go ahead with that, then you have to choose the godfather right. The godfather has to be a man that is a role model. He has to be a man that has taken responsibility. He has to be a man that finds joy and pleasure in nurturing the next generation of men and boys. So first is the godfather. And not just choosing the godfather. It is ensuring that the godfather has a very, very critical role and plays a very critical role in the life of that child, number one. Number two, you have male siblings. You have to give the responsibility
One of them.
to your own male siblings, your brothers. You have uncles. Also, you have to try as much as possible, to develop a relationship with your son's male teachers. Very, very important. You have to be involved in choosing his friends. Now, all of this is ensuring that you create a system around this boy, such that left, right, center, forward is bombarded by the right kinds of people.
Role models.
And we know that our environment influences our behavior. Our behavior influences our abilities and our capabilities and everything we do in life. Now, our environment and our behaviors, right, and what we've learned from our nurturing influences our beliefs and our values and our identity. By implication, environment, behavior, beliefs and values, identity influence our outcomes in life.
Right. Let me go on a break. There's a lot to break down. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing fatherhood, and this is really more about fathers to their sons. And we have with us our catalyst, Lanre Olusola. Waiki had a question before the break. Go ahead, please.
I was going to say, do you think that fathers not being there are really to blame for, like, the bandits? I call them terrorists, but the so-called bandits, the kidnappers, or they're just inherently bad people? Or it's just that they have been failed by government. Now, if we're going to go to that, then you see our governments are mostly men. Our government people are mostly men. So that means they too are failures because they are fathers of the nation. So me, I'm going to go to...
will definitely go to the government.
I will go to the government because we have been ruled mostly by men.
Right.
It's a vicious cycle, YK. You know, I always like to go back to fundamental first principles of foundational issues. The men in our government came from a family. Now, let's just do a comparative analysis. Let's take maybe Wole Soyinka, and let's take a match for Wole Soyinka, a man in government, and let's see the pedigree. Let's see the background. Let's see the influence of the fathers and the mothers and the families. And let's see how they have turned out. You know, family is the bedrock of society. So we're only seeing in government, right, the products of the families. And so I know that government has a role to play, but we can't control what government does. What we do have control over is ourselves and what happens in our families. And so if we come back to the topic, you know, the role of fathers, right, in their sons is the fathers have to be role models. In fact, they have to live the life that they expect their children to live because the children eventually become their fathers.
Yeah.
So your son is your mirror. So whatever you are seeing, right, in your son, check yourself.
Check yourself.
So whatever we're seeing in our leaders, right, we need to go and check their
families.
Larry, there's this new saying around town saying, oh, let the boy cry. You know, let him express his emotions. You know, let him just be, we're tired of having this macho. But are we not creating sissies? Are we not creating men that are not going to be in charge? Because there's always that feeling of when a woman feels like, yes, my man is in control, he understands, he's a leader here. But people now start feeling that by allowing them express themselves and be emotionally connected with their inner self, it's going to make them less of a man. Could you help me understand that better?
It's a big topic, bro. All right. So let me get us to understand how powerful emotions are. You cannot make a decision without an emotion. Every decision you make is influenced by an emotion.
Okay.
And the outcomes of our lives or the actions we take is a function of every decision we make. So if our outcomes are negative, then our decisions were negative, and by implication, our emotions were negative. So if we teach men only to focus or express positive emotion, then they are not complete, because that's not life. The reality of life is ups and downs, good and bad, right? Negative and positive. Life is about polarity. That's one of the 12 universal laws of the universe. The law of polarity. There will always be the opposite of everything. And it's always yin and yang. So, we need to get our boys to understand the law of sexes. When I talk about sexes, is you are male and female. I am male and female. The left side of my body is filled with female energy. The right side of my body is filled with male energy, which means that female emotions, male emotions. The male emotion is what you have described. It's a driver, you know, he has positive energy, he's vibrant, he should be resilient, he should be in control. The female energy is receptive, is calm, is tranquil, is loving, is sensitive. We need both. And the reason why we need to nurture them for both, right, is for them to find harmony. You must cry because it's an emotion. You must laugh because it's an expression. Sorry, crying is an expression of an emotion. Laughing is an expression of an emotion, right? Pain is an expression of certain emotions.
Yay!
Right?
That's pain.
You know, if you suppress it, its energy, it cannot be suppressed for too long, right? It will be converted to another form, which will be toxic, which will bring disease and destruction. Internal and external. So we must teach them to embrace and express the right way. We must teach them to find harmony between their female energy and their male energy, between their female emotions and their male emotions, between their femaleness and their maleness, right? What we want is harmony. Now, it is also important that women understand this, because women are being taught now, based on a lot of women's liberation, to be masculine. And they are suppressing their femininity.
Hey, I know somebody like that.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we are internally, right, recoding and killing ourselves. We are externally infecting society. So the men are all men and all male energy. The women are all men and male energy.
And we are all
What happens to the female energy?
Where's the mother? Where's the nurturer? And there is a nurturer in the man, and there is a nurturer in the woman. And so we need to get back to basics, where it's all about harmony. Look, there has to be for this world to find peace, harmony, happiness, and joy. We need peace, harmony, internal.
Hey,
That's okay.
Can I? Yeah,
I need to digest it
yes,
first.
I am worried that a lot of people do not understand their emotions. They are not emotionally aware. So you're upset about something, you don't know what is causing the anger, because we have not been taught to go inwards and find the root cause of that anger. So you just express it everywhere. I am worried that those are the crop of parents who are raising children. How do we begin as parents to learn, first of all these things you're saying, because you can't give what you don't have.
You know, I think our tradition, our culture, our religions are to blame. Because, you know, look at when COVID came and say you can't catch a black man. Look at where we are now with COVID. So emotions, depression, not for black people. Do you know that depression is now the world's second killer? By 2030, the WHO says that depression will be the world's #1 killer. Depression is an emotion. So an emotion will be the world's #1 killer. We had better begin to take note of what she's saying, emotional intelligence. Now, research has now proven that 85% of all success in all dimensions of life is dependent on how emotionally intelligent you are, which leaves 15% to your IQ and your technical skills. So why are people struggling? A lack of emotional intelligence. And one of the critical elements of emotional intelligence is self-awareness, your ability to understand your strengths and your weaknesses, right? And how your strengths and your weaknesses affect and infect people around you. And your ability to self-regulate in the moment, not after. So self-awareness is not about knowing that, yes, he annoyed me and I shouted at him. No, it's in that moment to know what will trigger you, in that moment to know how it feels, and in that moment to be able to regulate yourself such that your decisions are right, your words are right, your reactions are right. Now, what's the implication of that? Now, emotions are also expressed by the influence of our biochemicals or neurotransmitters or hormones. If you keep releasing, what we call, those negative, deadly emotions, you will be releasing a lot of neurotransmitters that in themselves will kill you and turn to toxins like adrenaline, cortisol. They begin to have adverse effect on your biology.
Physical body, you mean?
Oh, yes.
There's a father watching this program right now, and he has a teenage son. I mean, that he doesn't want that child to be like him. Maybe the child is just like 11 years old. He knows he has anger issues. He knows he has bad behavior. And he's like, listen, I really don't want my child to end up like me. What can that father do?
I don't want my child to end up like me.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The first thing is you have to accept that you have a problem. 1. And get help. 2. And 3, sit with your son. So, son, this is who I am. This is how I've turned out. And this is why I've turned out this way. And I'm getting help. These are the consequences in my life. Use your failure. Use your mistake. Use the way you are to teach him how not to be.
How not to be.
Let him know you are getting help, right? And change. Once your son sees that you are moving from the North Pole, extreme negativity, and you are gravitating towards positivity, what better lessons than to live it and be it?
This emotion, there is an emotion that I wanted to ask you about that most of us have been through as kids. When your mom is calling you, why you go spelling? What kind of emotion is that? And how is that a negative emotion or a positive emotion?
Your mother calls you.
And your mother asks you to do something, or your father asks you. You can't show him or her that emotion. So you will dance.
And grumble.
Bad dance. In one corner there. And you will stamp your feet, I don't understand. My mic will fall down. So you just
get angry and then go in front of him and you now pretend.
Sometimes your father will catch you and give you a hot slap for that dance that you did. What kind of emotion is that? And is that an emotion or is
it healthy?
Is it healthy? Eh? Thank you.
So it's it is frustration, it is irritation, it is powerlessness, it is helplessness. Those are the emotions. And they express themselves in different ways. Some repress it, some express it, right? Whichever way. And it depends on the frequency that affects you. And so the question that you have to ask yourself is this, right? Does my father have a right to call me and to send me on errands? Yes, they do. The parent needs to also think, am I provoking my child? Because it is written, do not, provoke your children to wrath, right? So there needs to be a balance between both entities, parents and children. Children need to, especially these millennials.
Yeah. They are no more millennials. They are now
Generation Alpha.
No, Generation Alpha. Z is the present ones that we are seeing up and down now.
Z. Yeah.
Alpha,
the
0 to 10.
ones just growing.
Yeah.
Now, talking about, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to go to the issue of sexual relations when it comes to boys. Girls are given a lot of responsibility. They start teaching them on time how not to allow a boy touch you, how to comport yourself, how to clean up yourself, and all of that. But boys are basically allowed to find their feet. When they bring home some bad habits, and say, he's a boy, he will get out of it. He will grow. The society will train him. And some fathers are actually happy when their sons come home with girls and
Condoms,
tell
all
them
that,
about or they see their escapades. They are excited. He's becoming a man. How do we begin to break those gender stereotypes?
Also, I think when we are able to see the consequences of a lot of those things, then we will begin to think differently. So if we looked at society today, especially normalcy, right, when it comes to intimate relationships and marriages, you will find out that 1 in 2 first-time marriages is failing, ending up in divorce. 1 in 2, that's 50%, right? 63% of second-time marriages is ending up in divorce. 72% of third-time marriages is ending up in divorce. So that tells us that there's something wrong. Now, if we realize that there's something wrong, then we need to go back to the basic and say, okay, what is the example that we're showing? And how are we nurturing our children? So let me come back to your question with the boys, right? Interestingly, your sexual initiation determines how you will be with the opposite sex in your latter years. So how are boys sexually initiated? They are house girls, they are aunties, so boys were abused. A lot of boys were abused.
And it's not recorded.
It's not
They
talked
only talk
about,
about
it's
the
not
female.
recorded. We're only focusing on the women, right? And when these boys are sexually molested, sexually abused, and up until their teenage years, 18, 19, right, from when they were 5, 6 years old, right, you will find out that, traditional culture keeps quiet out, correct? Do you think the father doesn't know what's going on with the house girl? They know. They know. But yeah, correct. Now, they can't have that kind of conversation with their sons. 1, 2, they leave their sons to go and learn from outside. So a lot of young boys also, right, get up to no good with prostitutes, That's what young boys in secondary school do. So, they are nurturing themselves and programming themselves for promiscuity and multiple partners.
So how could they have fixed that early?
The father needs to be having...
How does the father teach a boy how to have sex?
No, you teach him about... You have to have conversations with your son.
It's not just the girls.
It's not just... You have to have serious conversations with your son, right? And your son needs to be open with you to say, this auntie abused me. This, it's not something you accept. It's something you've got to deal with. You've got to protect your children. I mean, why should a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old be having sex with an 18-year-old, 19-year-old? Why? How is that okay? How would that shape his thinking, right? And his behavior in his latter years?
So a father, you're saying that a father who's watching right now should be discussing these issues of sex with their son.
Of course, the father has to be present first, not absent.
But some fathers just want to keep quiet. They just don't want to
They don't know how.
They are not a father.
No, but you see, the thing you're missing, Larry, is that a lot of these fathers too were sexually abused, because I know a lot of boys who their initiation to sex was with their house girls. A lot of men.
9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Nobody has told them that was wrong. So they don't even know. So if they hear that their own son too is being... They may not react, or they may not stop, because what they have to do is stop the child.
You're saying you'll get over
that, yeah.
Let's go on a break.
Okay,
Let's go on a break. When we come back, I'd like you to address this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have Lanre Olusola. You're going to respond to something YK said earlier about...
fathers don't know the difference because they too...
were abused.
So, that's why we're having these conversations, I mean, where will you be hearing about this? What TV? In our own days. Do you understand? So, we're in the age of knowledge, revelation, information. And, we need to unlearn and relearn. And that's why we're having these conversations. And that's why I celebrate your view. You're always having life-transforming conversations. And I hope that the viewers out there are listening and they are learning.
Yeah.
Because, we cannot solve a problem at the same level of thinking that created it. We must elevate to a higher level of thinking to solve a problem. So, YK said that, yeah, the fathers don't know. The fathers experienced it, right? The more reason why they should wake up to the reality of how it has affected their marriages, how it has affected their relationships, how it has affected them and is affecting them today, such that they are able to protect their sons from going through it. It's an epidemic. 9 out of men, right, were initiated either by their house girls, their older cousins, or a prostitute.
So let me ask you this. If we talk about having very deep conversations with boys, what would be more like the content of this conversation? So I know that boys are not taught how to express when that feeling, that urge comes upon them. They don't know how to express. They are not taught how to. Should that be like the focus of that conversation? So let me give you an example. When we had a lot of rape stories coming up, they just would explain to you that they felt like doing it and they just met the available girl and decided to rape that girl. So how do we begin to teach them that it's okay, it's normal to have these feelings? How do you now use the feelings that you have? How do you control the feelings?
How do you rechannel that feeling?
Exactly, to something more? How do you just have the conversation?
I think the first thing is to create an enabling environment for open and honest conversation, right? So the question we will ask first is, does the father and the son have that kind of a relationship?
First of all.
That the son can come and say, Daddy, this is how I'm feeling. Who will he go to? Mommy.
Likely.
Not Daddy, because what Daddy is the hard guy, is the macho guy, talking about, oh yeah, let men be men. Yeah. Men in control. You don't have that kind of conversation with Daddy. Daddy has to be approachable. That's the feminine side of Daddy. That's the nurturing side of Daddy. That's the accommodating side of Daddy. That's the sensitive side of Daddy. That's the listening side of Daddy. Right? That's the side of Daddy that can connect with the son at a deep level. Right? That's the side of Daddy that, Daddy too will know that, this is my son. The way that he's behaving, this was how I was behaving when I was 9. Come, son, what's going on with you? When I was your age, I used to. Yeah. A lot of fathers don't even want to talk about their mistakes and their failures. And you can use that to teach your son so much more. I say to people that failure and mistakes, challenges and tribulations teach you much more than your successes. So be comfortable to talk about your failures. Comfortable to talk about your challenges, your mistakes. But most importantly, teach them from it. Teach them what not to do. Right. Teach them the consequences of following you or your own mistakes. Okay,
so there's another angle I'd like us to talk about, because we have reports of which young teenagers are committing suicide. Aside from this issue of sexuality, there are also pressures from their fathers. They must pass this exam. You must get to Harvard. You must pass this SATs. And they feel these immense pressure from family to achieve. Or even if you finish school, there's immense pressure to bring money home, to take care of the family. And sometimes they just give up. They just don't know. So how do we help our children, to understand how to manage and not get suicidal?
Before you go there, because there's a tube here that's saying you should start to talk to boys at 13 about sexuality. I think it's earlier.
That's too late.
It's too late. Yeah. So I just wanted to, because people believe
that's too late.
An age where you should start to talk about.
From age 3.
Yeah.
From age 3?
When they can understand what they are.
And I know I've told them the normal one. I don't think my husband has never had a conversation with them, but me, I've done the normal. They already know the body parts. Know not to touch this.
Beds and bees.
That's what they tell the girls. It's beds and bees.
No, you tell them what organ.
No, we tell them exactly the name.
The names of
No,
Does not touch.
when you are, when you are
Okay,
a
that's
girl,
it.
your mother, they tell your mommy to go and discuss the birds and the bees. with
okay,
you.
with
Oh,
you.
got you. All right.
Okay.
All right, so we'll talk about suicidal.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that, I was saying that young teenagers they feel the exams, they feel that pressure from home. How do we help young boys not to get suicidal?
Yeah, the issue with suicide today is you know, associated with a lack of emotional resilience, right? A sense of despondency, a sense of powerlessness and helplessness and hopelessness. Not just pressure, right? Now the question is this: what pushes a child to the point where the decision to take his life is better than a decision to stay alive, right? It's not an issue of just pressure. It's despondency, helplessness, hopelessness, and powerlessness. And so we need to look at that entire system that child is growing up in. And we need to identify what is it. It can't just be pass your exam. It can't just be you have to be the best in your academics. There's a lot more. And we need to own that and take responsibility for that, right? No child that is given love, no child that is shown love, no child that their self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence is developed, right? No child that you often hug, that you love, that you sit with, that you have conversations with. No child that you go out with, you know, that you spend quality time with, that you nurture appropriately. No child that grows up in a very functional environment, right? Don't let me say no. Very few of them will get to that point, right? Before they even get to that point, you would have observed, because you would have been with them at the dinner table. They would have been open and having conversations with you. Before a child gets to that point, he must have been withdrawn for a minimum of 3 to 4 weeks.
You would have noticed.
You would have noticed that he is not taking care of himself. He is incoherent. He's not interested in anything anymore. He does not take a bath. He doesn't want to get out of bed. His eating habits, his sleeping habits, you know, he's not, you know, pushing and driving, you know, in school. They're complaining about behavioral issues in school. You would have consistently, over a period of 3 to 4 weeks, seen
a change.
Yeah,
there's
deliberate
something
parents.
wrong. Because suicide, right, 90 to 95% of all suicide cases, right, is the result of depression. So what is it that is causing that young child to be depressed?
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're having some really deep conversations here with Lanre Olusola, and it's going to get deeper because we want to get to the crux of this matter. Yes, Waike, I think you had a question.
Yeah, you know me, because we all say it's leader. You know it's already late, because our leaders, they've done their own. They are doing their own. We are where we are. Now we have these young kids, the millennials, the Generation Z. I will not talk about the Alpha generation because they are a bit too young to. But let's talk about the millennial Generation Z. How are we going to nurture them? Because they don't have good examples in our leaders. Our leaders are not good examples. And if that is who they are going to follow, what is the solution to give them, apart from hope, but make them be good people, good men, good leaders of tomorrow? Because these are the people who will either take Nigeria higher or sink
Nigeria
further.
So there are a few
the
institutions.
bottomless pit.
A few institutions that have to change. I've spoken about the family institution. That has to change. And the family constitution and the purpose of family is to nurture the right citizen who will go out in society and add value. So the whole construct of the purpose of family and what comes out of family has to change. The second is our schools. You know, so the children will leave home and go to school. So who are the teachers there? Who are the school owners? And what are they being taught? We were taught so many things. Discipline. I remember when I was in secondary school, my vice principal disciplined me in Form 4, secondary school. She disciplined me for one term, and that changed my life. If they beat your child in school, now, that teacher is in trouble.
Everybody's running there.
They don't
beat my child?
They don't even bond that teacher to discipline your child. So what are you doing?
Exactly.
You are sparing the rod to spoil the child. So our educational institutions have to change. Our religious institutions have to change.
Yeah.
Pastor has to live by example. He has to lead by example.
Yeah.
You know, the imam and the imam and the leaders in the mosques have to lead by example, because those are the role models. So father is a role model, the teachers and school owners role model, and then in our religious institutions.
All right, let me take this call from Taiwo. Taiwo, are you there? Hello? Taiwo, you're live. Are you there? Then we lost that call.
Yeah, so I wanted to find out the need most of our young men have to take drugs. We have a huge issue of drug abuse in Nigeria. And it's not just for the rich people. You know, before when we hear drugs, we think you spend money to buy all of those fancy names I don't want to mention on live television. But we now have even those people who can barely feed, looking for ways to get illicit high, going to soccerways and all those things just to get high. What is the driving force behind that need to constantly be high, and how can we help them?
Hopelessness.
Same issue with suicide.
Yeah, hopelessness. You know, so substance abuse is a coping mechanism for something. So a sense of hopelessness, which is coming from a sense of stress, is how you are interpreting what is going on around you, and what can you do. So it's illicit drugs, right? It's alcoholism. So, you know, I walk every morning, and when I walk, I see those small sachets of alcohol from Chelsea to Baraga, name it. I see thousands on the road. So your driver, your cook, your gate man, and young boys. And then I see some young boys riding some dirty-looking bicycles, carrying strap bags, selling drugs. You need to be observant of what is going on.
Those strap bags.
Yeah, you see some young boys riding dirty-looking bicycles, right? Carrying strap bags. Watch. Just follow them and just watch. They will stop in front of gates, exchange something.
Wow.
Cars will park, exchange something.
Wow.
You know, so it's an epidemic. Alcohol and drugs.
Drug abuse.
An epidemic, and it is born out of hopelessness. There's so many youth.
The coping mechanism for something
The
bigger.
millennials.
Let me take this call and hold it for a while. Taiwo, are you still there? Hello? I think I don't have that. Hello, are you there? All right, you talked about...
Sorry?
Hello?
Hello,
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, please.
I'm there. Hi.
Yes, good.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Go ahead, please.
I'm here. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
He's listening to the TV.
I can hear you, ma'am. Hi, how are you all?
We're fine.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful program. Thank you, Mr. Lanre. He seems to be very, very effective and he knows his onions, not to really know child. I want to say, I'm a diasporian, and I've seen cases of how to raise a male child. But I still attribute so much problems to society and religion and home.
I'm having trouble hearing Taiwo. Say the diaspora. Okay, all right.
Maybe he's calling from UK or somewhere.
He's coming from Lagos. But I wanted to, you want to say on this matter, Mikey?
Yeah, no, I just found it very instructive when Lanre was talking about the people who should be nurturers. He didn't mention government people.
Mikey and this government. Mikey, leave government for a second, please.
No, no,
we know government.
It's very important.
Okay,
It's very instructive.
Mikey,
I'm just telling you, okay.
Well, Lanre, there's another thing I wanted to talk about. Because when we were growing up, spanking was normal. And today, coaches like you say, don't spank your children, talk to them, have conversations. And for some fathers, there's this need to really spank. Now, spanking has levels. So you're demanding your child to be an A student. You're demanding your child to read. You're demanding your child to do something, not to play at all, and get all A's. And the child is constantly feeling, so whenever the child falls short, he shrieks, he feels like he has disappointed you. And there's that feeling of, maybe, I don't want to use despondency, that's too strong a word, feeling of, I have disgraced my family for this thing. Is this the right thing to do? Or is there a better way of raising children to accept both their failures and their wins, but at the same time, make them also be successful in future? Because we don't want them to feel like failures, but at the same time, we also want them to achieve the best.
So there are a few things in there, spanking. So coaches like me, teach for the parent to look at different kinds of ways, to get their children to learn. So what is the whole essence of punishment? You should ask yourself, why am I punishing him? I want him to learn something. So if the purpose is lost, right, then there's something else going on.
Okay.
And the something else that is going on is really transferred aggression. So the mother has offended you, or you are coming from stress from work, and you are transferring that anger on your son, because a lot of beating is abuse. A lot of beating. What the child did is not measurable with the kind of beating and punishment. So you need to go and check yourself, right? Now, it is that beating that we coaches speak to and say is not right. It can't be right, because it's not beating, it's abuse. Now, the second thing is, what is the purpose of correcting your child? It is so that he can learn. So how best can someone learn? It is for you to have the conversation. So you can understand that there are 4 kinds of children. There are children that are kinesthetic. They are feelers. That one will be corrected if you spank him. A second kind of child, which is logical and intellectual, you beat him from kingdom come.
Nothing.
In fact, we just give you
like
the
that.
back. Because he's thinking, how does beating change this matter? There's another child that is visual, right? That child that is logical, you must sit down with him and
Reason it out.
Reason it out. The child that is visual, you take away his gifts. TV. The child that is auditory tonal, you talk to him or her.
How do you know which is which?
So, they're different, you observe. That's what Montessori is really built on, right? They put a radio, they put a TV, they put a stuffed toy, they put Lego. The child will gravitate towards his natural inclination, right? So you also need to be able to understand, and that's why parents need to empower and equip themselves and learn these things, neuroscience, psychology, psychodynamics. You have to learn it because they are critical parenting tools. Coaching, you have to learn it.
Like I have a daughter who is auditory. Michelle is auditory. So all the kids are watching cartoon, and she doesn't sit to watch. She's in the kitchen, but she knows all the songs.
She's listening.
She can sing. And you want to put this girl, she's hardly in front of the TV, but she knows because she's auditory. She's constantly, all she needs is just to hear. But I'll come back to you. Let me take this call. Yakub, are you there?
Hello.
You're live. Go ahead, please, Yakub.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to you all. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
I don't have much to say this morning, and may God Almighty Allah bless you.
Amen.
And then whoever contributes to this program, to make this program come to life in TV stations, this kind of a discussion, that is what makes this very particular program stand out in other programs that's coming on in every station in the world. Morayo, personally, I've learned a lot of things this morning. I learned a lot. because anytime you bring on Mr. Lanre Olusola, I always dedicate a lot of listening and then focus, because I know that that very particular day I'm going to learn. Morayo, God will bless you. Because this program, as I'm talking to you, it's not even only me. A lot of people, indirectly and directly, you are talking to us as if Mr. Lanre Olusola know us one by one. Because a lot of things like this is happening at home that we don't even pay attention to. Morayo, once again, and Sister Yena, and all the co-hosts in that program, may God Almighty Allah continue.
Thank you very much, Jacob.
Thank you,
Thank
Jacob.
you. God bless you.
Amen.
So going back to this, the understanding the children and knowing how to raise them, because this spanking thing, this is like
So
we
the
use
one
it
that
for
likes
every
TV,
child.
everybody.
Kinesthetic is this one
The
that
one
feel
that visual.
visual. So my son, the twin, he kinesthetic. So that one, I need spanking. And when it's small, it is spanking.
Or take away the toys he...
Yeah, that he likes.
he-
So, but now parents are listening to you. How else can we learn to know what our child is? What are the tools you can give us to learn what their own inclinations are, so that we can know what we are dealing with per child?
All right, so you observe, number one. Number two is you listen. So a visual child uses visual words, or what we call predicate phrases.
Okay.
You know, Daddy, can you see what I'm saying? Telling you is visual. An auditory child will tell you, Daddy, you're not listening to me. A kinesthetic child will tell, Daddy, do you understand? Yeah? Right? A kinesthetic child is, Daddy, do you feel me? They use the words that describe
Them.
You need to listen to their choice of words. Now, more importantly, when you want to get through to them, speak their language.
Using those same, do you feel me?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah, so visual children paint the picture. Use graphical illustrations for them. Kinesthetic children, work it out with them. Right? Logical children, you must be logical, sequential, logical, build it, case by case, precept by precept. Auditory tonal, you have to find the right words, right? The right phrases, the right descriptives for them.
I'll come to you, Bisi. Let me take Bisoye for a while. Bisoye, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I want to appreciate your program. It has been very educative. Then mostly I watch most of your guests. They are very educative to one. Like for the morning, this morning on, I've learned for the children or bringing our children to the right way, listening to them, understanding them, and making things make more workable for them.
Right.
Then for the children, I get to know that many parents don't like. They want them to be very serious, not to play. And meanwhile, playing, I believe it helps improving
Development.
them too. So I want to get that truly. If there's a stages of where they play, you caution them, or if it have a negative effect them.
Thank you, Bisoye, for taking us there. This is of play, because some of us want to raise Mark Zuckerbergs. We want to raise people who are inventors. We want to raise scientists. We want to raise problem solvers. We want to raise people who are going to be captains of industry, not just another next door neighbor worker or somebody who is just average citizen. And we believe that it is until you work hard and you slave the child and they're doing their mathematics algebra back to back, and then, no play, no time for play. You have to just focus, because I want you to go to KPMG. I want to go, Is that the right way to get this kind of child to do this? Or are there other ways? Or can we allow them to play? Are they allowed to play, or they must just be focused?
All right. So there are many things that children need at different developmental stages of their lives. Between 0 to 7, which is the age that, 80% of their personalities develop, 80% of their cognitive abilities are developed. 80% of their, neural connections are developed, ages 0 to 7. The Jesuits say, give me a child from ages 0 to 7, right, and I'll shape his future, right? That's the Catholics, right? So around that age, right, they must play. You must play with them. You must allow them to play with their peers. You must watch them in terms of, are they selfish? Do they want to keep the toys to themselves? What kind of toys are they interested in playing with? So you find a child that likes to write, likes rhymes, likes to sing, right? Likes to act. You find a child that it will take the radio apart. He's already telling you engineering. You have a child that likes to draw. He's already pointing you in the direction of architecture, art. You have a child that has humor. You know, there's just no way that when you're around that child, you will not laugh. Watching him, you will just be laughing. That child is already showing you their future potential. Now, the problem with a lot of us is that we're directing our children to live the lives that we couldn't live.
That we want them to live.
You understand? I've always wanted to be a doctor, so unconscious to me, there's a bias, and I'm directing that child. That child can be the world's best scriptwriter, can be the next Steven Spielberg, can be the next Tyler Perry. Look, we have to understand that in this world is an ecosystem, and fun and recreation has a role in each of our lives. So the child has to learn to play. In play, that child can discover that they are the next Bowie. They can discover that they are the next basketman, right? Allow your child. Gone are the days where, it's about medicine. How many?
But they're the ones making money abroad.
Which money?
What about Nigeria?
Are you abroad?
Do you know how much comedians are making?
Are you abroad?
Trying to get our children abroad? We all want our children to go to America.
No,
But let me just help you with that medicine,
Yes.
right? Very soon, that whole practice of medicine, the way it's being practiced, no, will be obsolete. And your computer will be diagnosing you and prescribing to you.
Okay, now.
So you send your child to Harvard or Howard or Stanford to study medicine, and you realize that in the next 9 years, that profession is no longer existing. At what point did drone operator become, or drone pilot become a profession? A social media influencer, comedian, musician. Look, we need to wake up to the reality of the 21st century. There are certain professions that in the next 5-10 years will not be in existence. And you may be doing your child the greatest disservice. We need to wake up to the reality of the times that we're in. There are certain jobs that doesn't exist now that would exist in the next
in 5 years' time.
Five years, right? Find your children's interests and passion, right? Make sure that you teach them to be broad. Teach them to play. Teach them to be able to combine
That's 0
play.
to 7. After 0 to 7.
No, across all ages.
Okay.
Teach them to play. Teach them to combine play with discipline and focus. Let them be able to structure different things. Now, let them make mistakes and fail, right? Give them responsibility and tasks, right? Hold them accountable from very early. Teach them to be leaders. But most importantly, be the example. You cannot be saying, do this, and you are showing them the contrary. So the way you relate with their mother, or the way the mother relates with the father, the way you relate with their siblings, the way you relate with your own friends. Are you back home at a certain time? You are teaching your children that, you know what? You go to work and you come back home, because home is very key. Family is very, very important. Being present is very, very important. Or are you the one that is always in every party? You're telling your child something.
They are watching.
Yeah, your children are watching than you are learning from your behavior, from your lifestyle, better than what you can say to them.
Yes.
And so you will find out that your children will choose which parent or which behavior. But it may be that auntie that you are allowed to come and spend time in your house, that child will be watching and may pattern their life after. So you have to be careful.
Which auntie? Which auntie? Because, okay, it's funny because my brother does not go anywhere. During the COVID, he will not step out. He doesn't, in fact, he doesn't go. If he catches COVID, it will be just a stroke of bad luck because he doesn't step out. It's only now that they let us start performing. So his children watching, but then they have this auntie that likes to dress up. That's me now. So they always come into her, where are you going now? You know, so I'm wondering, as you are saying this, I'm wondering,
are you a bad influence?
Am I?
They're watching you.
because sometimes when I just, I like what you're wearing, you know? Yeah, so I just...
So you're like the mother figure in their life, really. Yeah. So it's a good mix.
Yeah.
It's a good mix.
I'm wondering...
I think we need balance, right? Because you need to go out and you need to come home. We need all that balance because you cannot just be in isolation. You need to relate with the world and the world needs to relate with you and you need to add your value to the world, right? And also you can't live in the world. You've got to be able to also create that delicate harmony and balance. Very, very key.
Let me take Abby from the UK. Good morning, Abby. Are you there? Hello, Abby. Hello, Abby. You're live. Are you there? I think we lost that call. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I realized that a lot of us parents are always very angry, the way we react to situations. And I worry that we are not showing examples to our young ones. So when you observe them play and you see how they quarrel and argue and drag, I just feel we are bringing up the next generation to be exactly or even worse than we are. I want you in practical terms to tell us some of the practices that we can start doing in our different houses on how to bring calmness, peace to our children so that the next generation would have something to look forward to.
Thank you for that question.
What year were your kids born?
Is that what?
What year were your kids, your oldest?
She's 12.
What year?
Was she born? 2009.
Okay, so is she alpha or...
12?
No,
she's Z.
She's Z, yeah.
Z.
But I like that question because there are many houses that are bubbling with that noise,
shouting, everybody blah blah.
I think first thing, I always go back to the fundamental principles. When you have conflicts, how do you resolve them? Parents.
Yeah.
When you have conflict with daddy, how do you resolve it? Do you scream, shout?
Yeah.
No, talk about it.
Do you talk about it or do you withdraw? The children are watching. Let me get us to understand that everything is energy, right? And we feel energy. So daddy and mommy don't realize that the children know that there's tension in the house. They can feel it. They know. They may not be able to articulate it or express it or even speak to it, but they know what's going on. So they are watching. Look, children are like mops. They are taking in unconsciously. 90 to 95% of their learning is unconscious. So they are mopping it in. And you find out, right, that your children are a reflection of you. And so the very first practical step is you need to be emotionally aware, right? Secondly is you need to be aware of how you resolve conflicts with your siblings and your spouse. Thirdly, you need to regulate that, right? What do you do on the phone when you're angry? What do you do with your nanny when you're angry? What do you do with your cook? What do you do with your driver when you're angry? The children are watching you, right? And, they are learning from you. They're going to do it. Are you very irritable? Are you someone that, blows up? Or are you snaps? Or are you someone that withdraws? They are watching you. The best way to teach.
There are some important tubes
I'll come to you, Ike. Let me take Taiwo because he's been holding for a while. How are you there, still from the UK?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Morning.
So this is the second time I'm calling you guys.
Welcome to the show.
Which you guys last year. So it's good that we're having this conversation. I thank your guests for enlightening the people. I think one thing that we as Africans should understand first is who we are as a people, who we are before slavery and colonization. Because it is clear that when you go back in time, we were taught how to raise our kids. The Africans have the concept of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Mother. So basically, the Africans are telling you that the father and the mother are the guides to raise the child. So if this, and the family unit is so key, if one of these elements in the family unit breaks out, especially the father probably goes to prison or the mother is being maybe diagnosed for mental, whatever, the child is just going to malfunction. That's what the Africans are saying. And these are the history that we're not taught in school, which should be part of our core educational system. Because family and education as well is, these are the two institutions that will shape the child's thinking.
Right.
Because the culture itself is where we put in the value system and the idea that shapes the child.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Taiwo, for your contribution.
Yeah,
Mike,
please, there's some important. Andrew Estretham says, is it possible for a kid to be kinesthetic, visual, audio, and logical? Ask Sage Lanre Olusola. Then there's another one. Please, YK, please, what is this Z alpha that you are saying, please? So you need to just, break it down for them.
All right.
There are a lot of tubes here, but I know we don't have time.
So
I would love to read some of them.
So we all display all those four at different points in different contexts and situations. However, there are some dominant traits that we have. I am dominantly auditory digital, which is logical. And so you would even see from the way that I build up my cases and I present my cases, right? Sequential is logical. That's how I am. I think like a scientist, right? So we all have a dominant side of us. And then we call it primary, and then we have a secondary, right? So it's a second dominant, right? The rest we display it at different times, but there are two that are most prominent. Now, in identifying it, I've laid down how you can identify it. Now, coming down to the generations, it's a space of 15 years. So Gen Alpha, right, is backdating to the last 10 years. So we're in 2021 now, right? Gen Alpha. And they are starting all over. They've gotten to Generation Z, A to Z. Alpha is Generation A. So they are starting all over again. That's why it's Generation Alpha, right? So the last 10 years, right, because we can't reach 15. So they're numbering Generation Alpha 0 to 10. And if you backdate it, that's 2011. Yeah? And then you take 15 years from 2011 to Generation Z. Then you take 15 years from, Generation Z's last date, 15 years. And so you keep, so it's a 15-year, yeah.
We are the baby boomers.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, they're going to come to you.
So I've always said this, that it's very important. If I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have just rushed having these children. I'd have spaced it, maybe 7 years, so that I would have bonded well. No, yes, because I'm just realizing that we put so much attention on popping out these kids. Just have them. Okay, once I'm married,
boom, boom, boom.
in 3 years, I should have had the 3 children, so that I start raising them. By the time they are big, I'm big, we're the same, we're looking like sisters and all of that. But I'm realizing that deliberate parenting is a lot of work. Now, my question is, how do we help parents to begin to manage their expectations of their children? That their children will not turn out the way they have envisioned it in their minds. How do we help them to relax and allow these children find their path?
As you answer that question, I also want you to remember that there are some people that came out exactly as their parents envisioned.
Are they happy?
That doctor that I wanted you to be. You became the doctor in United States of America, or you're in Goldman Sachs, and you're making some 6-7 figures.
Are you happy?
That is what, so as we are trying to make it look as if it doesn't come out the way, in some cases it does. And
are they happy?
The Kalabaja's son is a doctor in
I like this point. And as you were talking, BC, right, I realized that it seemed like our parents understood this concept. Because if you think about it, right, you and your siblings is usually 4 to 6 years gap.
Yeah.
If
you look at that...
That was 12 years.
If you look at that, thumb of rule, you would see, right? So, very interesting. Very, very interesting that you think it. Also, right, to your point, I think that there's a lot of irresponsible parents. And let me explain. I think it's one of the displays of the highest form of irresponsibility is to expect that your child will be the one that will cater to you in your retirement. I think it's wicked.
I don't talk on before.
I think it's very, very wicked, and I explain it to you.
What is wicked? Sorry, I missed.
Expecting that your child, educating your child, and nurturing your child to be your bank when you are in retirement, I think is the highest form of irresponsibility.
I agree.
And I'll explain it to you, right? School fees today, do you know how much school fees is? Not even nursery school fees. And then they have 3 children. So they have a family to cater to. House rent, generator, school fees, and so much more. So our children, right, what they are handling and what they are dealing with was not what we were handling and what we were dealing with. So if this is my lifestyle, I should invest in my retirement. And I should be a father or a parent that is even supporting my children, right, to be fruitful and successful. I should be the one giving them, not taking from them.
Thank you, sir.
That's one. Secondly is that...
If your child wants to do it, Uncle,
that's his own choice.
They're comfortable.
Now, the secondly is that when you have that mindset, you shut down. And that leads to dementia and Alzheimer's. You begin to shut down from a certain age because you're expecting that you will be catered to. You are slowly turning yourself into an invalid or disabled. So it is very, very important that you consistent, even though you retire, right?
you're still working.
You are still functioning.
But where is the place of Wajen Womo? Where is the place of your child is supposed to... It is, yeah,
I think that our culture and our tradition needs to be scrapped.
Has not served us. Thank you, sir.
It has to be scrapped. Let the child determine that I want to honor my father and my mother, and let them do it their own way. But for us to have this mindset, this entitlement mindset, I think it is wickedness.
I agree with you, sir.
I agree with you there.
It's wickedness.
But if the child wants to do it, you must accept it.
Yes.
But you must do more for that child. So when that child does it for me, I'm going to make sure that I outdo that child. So that, you know what, if he gives me $1,000, right, in the course of the year, I'll give that child more than $5,000 or his children. Do you understand what I'm saying? So my mindset, right, and I'm talking about the parent too, right, it is in your interest that you consistently become someone that adds value, and you create value, and you attract value. If you start to shut down, you are dying. One of the things with old age is that we are thinking we're old. And so when you think you're old, you think that you're not functioning, your faculties or, you know, the elements about you are not functioning optimally, then they start to shut down slowly.
Come, let me, because I'm older than you, so I know that you are not saying the right thing there. When you feel the pain, you feel the pain. The pain I felt 10 years ago, I don't feel it today.
That one is different.
I mean, the pain I'm feeling today, I didn't feel it 10 years ago.
But your brain is still working.
No, forget about that one.
No,
I'm talking about physical pain.
No, leave physical. We're talking about your faculties.
Let me address that physical.
In 30 seconds, we have to run.
That physical pain, right, is also the expression of an investment when you were younger. What did you do when you were younger?
On the stage. But I think what you get from that is that even if you're getting old, don't be mentally old. Be alert, be active, because
keep
your brain
learning.
will shut down if it assumes that role of...
It will begin to shut down. But you are very active, right? No one can really tell that you are this old. You're like a 40-year-old.
You're 60.
Let us.
We have to run. In fact, we've moved from father to
everything.
Son. I'm not talking about parenting.
It even pains me that we didn't talk about the 9-year-old girl.
Okay,
We'll talk about the another, but it was really a pleasure having you.
Because I would have loved to hear his take on it.
Yes, we can always come back. Lanre is always available for us. We can always bring you back.
Available.
Thank you very much, Lanre.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, it was some deep conversation there. Hope you learned a few things as we have. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.